It's time for your Talk Time Live exclusive.
You are now about to witness the strength of geek knowledge.
Folks, I am happy to have the man behind the opening theme that you hear every week on this program for the past maybe like 5 years of the 10. He has made his presence known and felt in many genres of pop culture, including professional wrestling, the world of video games, movies, and currently the world of hip hop for kids to enjoy. His name is Raheem Jarbo, also known as Mega Ran, and he is here about his latest chart-hitting kids album and much more. And also, I have him here to celebrate my 10-year anniversary of this show, because a part of it wouldn't be without his voice kicking it off. So please welcome Mega Ran back to Talk Time Live exclusive. Mega, what's good, man?
Yo, that's amazing. First of all, thank you for having me. Second of all, big congrats on 10 years, man. Like, there's very few things I've done in my life for 10 years, you know? And so just being able to stay consistent and continue to elevate over all these years has just been beautiful to see, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that deeply. And like I said, you, among a few others that have, I've been able to have the luxury of crossing paths with, have helped me on this road. I can never say I did this alone. I had some really cool people like yourself help me along the way, and it's been a surreal road. I couldn't thank you all without that time. I mean, it's just amazing. First off, let's talk about the latest album that you have done with your. Can we say in dedication to your son and tribute to your son, or a celebration of your son?
Yeah, celebration I think is good. All of the above works, Absolutely. I think it's more of a tribute to fatherhood and, a celebration for sure. And
I like that.
Yeah, I like all any of that because
entitled Buddy's Tree House, which congratulations to you. Got to pass that back. You hit #1 on the iTunes album charts and is charting in other platforms as well. So congratulations to you on that. Once again, I might add.
Thank you so much, man. It feels good that these records have been resonating with people. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I never knew that, and I didn't do it for that reason. So I never knew that this would, translate. I was just like, when I make my kind of pivots as a creative, it's usually for myself. It's for my own, joy, appreciation, to keep things fun for me. And so when people follow me along these paths, it's always a surprise and always a blessing.
Right. So talk about this. When did you think about this? Was this before the arrival of Zion, correct?
Yes.
When it's before the arrival of Zion, was it like already like stretch, or you just looked at his cute little face and was like, I got to do something?
Nah. Yes, as he got older, I feel like I was talking to somebody. I was like, oh, once you have a kid around, you want to play, children's music for them. Right. And I think that was what it came from, is this like playing kids music for him and saying, oh man, like, here's a song for this occasion. Here's a song to wake up in the morning. There's a song to go to bed to. And then being like, oh, there's other points in the day where I didn't have a song to play for those moments. And then it made me say, well, you write songs, so why not? Right. I got into some trouble early on in this process by being a little too honest about what I'd heard. You know what I'm saying? There was some kids' music that was like, I didn't think it was that great. I was like, oh, some of this stuff is a little silly. Right. And it's not really teaching anything. And not that it needs to be teaching, but I felt like, just a little bit of substance would make these things go a long way. Right. And so that instead of me just kind of nitpicking and critiquing, I was like, well, why don't I just write some songs and see how it feels? Right. And with my music already being clean, already being kind of about, fandoms and on brand, I feel like it's on brand for me to make a shift and try children's music. And so I did. And the rest is kind of history. You know what I'm saying? I put out a record, Toy Box, in 2023. Right. And just people really loved it, man. And I loved it. And my kid loved it. And so that was the most important thing, is that when I play these songs, like, his face lights up. He's like, that's daddy, and I love that about it. It's like, I'm able to be there even when I'm not there. You know what I'm saying? Like, mom can throw on some of the songs when I'm not there, if I'm away. Like, oh, it's daddy. You know what I mean? So I'm able to be in a couple of places at once, which is like a parent's dream. You know what I'm saying? So that's really that was the main goal. It was like,
Right.
let me just have something to have in the house. And then it was like, well, can we release this? Like, is this stuff good enough to release? And then you kind of got to get over yourself and learn to trust yourself and your process and how you wrote and stuff and believe in yourself.
Right.
And I was like, sure, man, let's put it out. Let's see what happens. And then we put it out and it hits Billboard. It hits all these different places and people enjoy it. And that's just been a crazy ride since.
I'm really glad you said that too, because, you know, I, as a side gig, I do, you know, graphic design, and I have clients that I help, you know, brand their businesses and such like that. And the number one thing I always got to tell people is like, before you have a focus group or before you have, you know, people who critique your work, you got to be like at least 75, 80% confident of it with a few little tweaks along the way. But for the most part, you got to believe in it enough, and you got to be confident enough, and you got to know your talents and self enough before you get to that point. Otherwise, if you're totally relying 60 to 70% on your focus group or the people around you who may not who be qualified to really understand what you're doing, it's risky. It's a high risk.
Oh yeah. Such a high risk. And I think, you got to believe in yourself, and you got to be able to kind of bet on yourself, and you got to like it. You know what I mean? And I think I think during the pandemic is when I started learning about falling in love with the process, you know, because we were at a point then where I was like, man, live shows might be over. You know, I might not.
Can you believe we got through that?
Yeah, like I may not be able to high five and hug people after a show, or just, you know, all the things that were such a big part of my life were gone. And I was like, well, if that face-to-face interaction and that immediate feedback is gone, I got to find something else. I got to find some sort of satisfaction in something else. And so the satisfaction is now in creation, in being happy with what I create. So that's what falling in love with the process is all about. You know what I'm saying? For me, it's like, yo, if you love what you made, it doesn't matter if one person watches it or 1 million people watch it. You know you killed it, and you feel good about it. You know?
I always believe that, like, if you love something so much, or if you're talented at something so much and you're passionate about it, people want to buy into what you love. They are so intrigued by why you love it so much, and they're willing to pay you.
That's the best part. They're actually willing to pay you for this stuff. Like, people get paid for this. Man, this is the stuff I would do for free on the block, you know, writing these songs, you know, rapping these songs. I've done this for free for many, many times. And I would, you know what I mean? If I was able to still do it at the way that I loved it and at the level that I loved and I was happy with, I'd go do something else to pay the bills. You know what I mean? Because this is something I would do if it paid zero. So the added triple bonus.
That's the life and philosophy of a true artist.
Yeah.
Point blank.
I think so. I mean, you know, like, you got to think about that. Like, I think basketball players, football players probably feel the same way. Like, this is the sport I love. I would do it for fun, and I do it for free. You know what I mean? Because I did it for fun and free for a long time, and I still enjoyed it. You know, we were making tapes on my block in Philly that no one would ever hear. You know, like, I knew that nobody would hear this. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe I take it to school. Maybe my friends will listen to my tape, but maybe they wouldn't. 5 people tops, and I was meticulously drawing out the album cover, meticulously writing down the credits of who's on this stuff, so that I could have something to read, because I love reading the liner notes. And like, for 5 people to see it and hear it. You know what I'm saying? So I would certainly do this stuff for free. And that's just the love of the process. You know, it's an old saying, and it's like, you know, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
I'm not joking when I say this. I had one of my sessions with my therapist, and we talked about that, because we were talking about somebody, one of my trainers in the gym was talking about how they didn't know that I was 48 years old, and they thought I was in my 30s.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
good. What can I say? You know?
I appreciate you. And I'm like, good living, good life, good living, even within the circumstances, good life, good living. And he asked me, what does that sound like? What does that look like to you? I'm like, it reminds me of what Stan Lee used to say. Stan Lee, you would hear him in documentaries. You probably hear him again in sound bited and stuff. Like, when it's your career, you never work a day in your life. When it's something that you love, you never work a day in your life.
Now, on the contrary, and I love that saying for so many reasons. But also, I can refute that and say, yo, you will be working hard as hell on this thing because you love it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reverse of that.
And I will rebuke that back.
Yeah.
I got a saying I always say. When you have fun, you got to work hard to have fun.
Yeah. Work hard, play hard.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, it's, and then when you do, when the hard work comes in and it's fun, you don't realize how hard it is. You're just doing it. You're in emotion. So
that's a good point. Like I work crazy hard. Like my days are 10, 12 hour days a lot of times where I'm just working on stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? Sometimes stuff that people will never see, never hear.
Right.
You know? And but because I love it, it doesn't feel like work. But at the end of the day, when I look at the clock, it definitely feels like work. You know what I mean? Like,
isn't that crazy? It is so crazy. Like even just doing a video like this or doing an interview like this and doing the post-production or just doing a video package or whatever like that. It's like 5 minutes, but she's spending like 13 hours or so.
Yo, for real.
And you don't feel it because it's just like you're in a groove saying like, I want to add this on. I want to edit this on. I want to design this and add this to this piece. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom.
Yes. The love of desire of wanting to make something great. You know what I'm saying?
That's and then you turn around and look at the carnage you made to get to that point.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. But yes, I both are true. They're so true. Yes. Like, you will not work, and then you'll also work really, really hard. But it just won't feel like work.
Folks, what we just had right now is what is called a Socrates Cafe.
I like that. I like that. It's just like last week I did a front page stream for Twitch. I did 8 hours, and I kept being like, oh man, what am I going to do for 8 hours? 8 hours of sitting in front of the computer, 8 hours of talking, 8 hours of maybe just rapping, being entertaining for 8 hours straight. Like when you're on a live stream, you know, I took a few 2-minute breaks just to kind of go to the bathroom, maybe get a snack, get some water. But like by the end, I was like, oh, I can go 5 more. You know what I mean? Like I felt so energized and I couldn't believe it. And people were like, man, I know you exhausted. And I was like, I should be, but like, I feel good. You know what I'm saying? Like you get so energized by creativity,
passion, man,
you know, and passion that they can drive you. I was like, oh, I could have done 8 more. You know, I really felt that way where like I wasn't slouching or yawning or being like looking at the clock like, oh God, when am I getting out of here?
Right.
It was just fun. You know what I mean? It was just constantly. So yeah, when you're having fun and you're enjoying what you do, I do agree that it's not work. It didn't feel like work at all to me.
Right.
Because I'd rather do this than anything else. I've worked in Boston Market. I've worked in.
I think we talked about that before. Yeah, we that's what we got. That's one of the things we got to cop.
one of the worst jobs of my life. You know what I'm saying? I can't
love the cookies
to this day.
Love the cookies. Love the pot pie. Wouldn't need anything else because I've been in the kitchen.
Yeah. Once you see how it's made, you're like, no thanks.
Yo, when the kitchen area is as small as your studio apartment, I'm like, no.
Nah, bro. Man, but yeah, oh gosh, man, the stories in that place. I think they're closed. At least they're closed out here. I don't know if they're closed everywhere.
It's like a Roy Rogers now. It's like they're just out in certain areas, certain regions.
Well, but rest in peace.
Going back to the album, how would you compare this project to the other projects in terms of preparation? How much did your prior experience as a teacher play a factor to this, if any?
Wow. I remember when I first started this album, I was like so nervous, and I feel like I get a little nervous most times that I'm creating an album, but this time especially because I felt like I had so much to live up to off of the previous album of Toy Box. And I was just like, man, those songs were fun. Those songs were complete. They told stories. And I was like, how do I do this again? And I remember sitting in the studio just with nothing, like blank slate. And I was like, man, I got to do a whole nother thing. And I think the first session, I just didn't do anything. You know what I mean? I just kind of brainstormed, you know, and was just like, I ain't got nothing, you know what I mean? And my engineer gave me great advice too. He's like, well, don't force it. Like, just let it flow.
Exactly.
You know? And so I felt bad because I felt like I was wasting time. You know what I'm saying? Like in the studio, time is money. And and so you're sitting there, clock is on, and I was just like, I got nothing, man. And he was like, well, let's just talk it out. Like, what do you want to do for the next thing? And so we started having conversations, and I was like, well, I want this album to grow up with Buddy, my kid. So therefore, he's 3 now, and on the first album he was almost 2. So
Right.
it's like now he's social, he's talking more, he's he's learning how to make friends, he's learning how to be
Mhm.
kind, polite, and so I want those things to be a part of it. So I made songs about giving him advice and things like that, and so after the conversation, I was still not ready to write anything, but the next session I was able to do that. So I was like, all right, now I'm ready. So we sat down, we started working on some tracks, and I think the thing that the first album taught me is that experimentation is really fun. And
Right.
so when I started experimenting with other genres, we did a lot of R&B, we did a lot of ska, rock,
Oh,
I'm
wow.
singing, we're like danceable tunes, like different
Right.
time signatures. And so that really inspired me to do that again. Cause I was
Dude,
like,
can
man,
you
this is
dance ska?
not really. I looked at a
Are you
couple
Sami
of,
Zayning it on stage?
I've
all of
been
a sudden?
trying to, do a little, the skank, but I pick it up a little bit. But I watched some YouTube tutorials, and they always go too fast. They be like, "Oh, here, all you gotta do is do like this," and they just start doing it, and I was like, "Oh, come on, man!" But
I think ska is the revenge of Black people having so much rhythm for so many years.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's like, all right, let me throw y'all off a little bit. It's like that little stop and go is like crazy.
We
But
got your potato salad with raisins right here.
yeah. ah, ah. That's so funny, man. It's as now with the 2 albums, I have now 2 ska songs that are like kind of in that same vibe.
Right.
And yeah, it's like the dance is different, the vibe is different, but all this is Black music too. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
yeah, at
Like,
the
don't
end
get
of
it
the day.
twisted. This is
Right.
from reggae. You know what I'm saying? Like, ska
It
just
really is.
it became kind of like, reggae light, you know what I'm saying, over the years. But Black folks started that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so a lot of the musical genres that I was messing with was just me having fun with different things that I grew up loving,
Right.
from jazz, getting into crazy time signatures and stuff,
Mhm.
bringing in a lot of horn players because I love live instruments and horns.
Wow.
And so I just wanted this album to grow up with him a little bit. So it's like, all
Right.
right, if it was 2 years later, what would you say? What would you do? What would be different? And
Right.
so I started going through my real life conversations with him and my real
Yeah.
life maybe struggles with him. Like, he doesn't like to brush his teeth,
Mhm.
So now I'm gonna make a song about brushing your teeth to try to make that more interesting for him. You know what I'm saying? So that's really what it was about, was just taking my real life conversations with him and seeing
Right.
some real life challenges and being like, all right, this is something that I can use as a teaching tool in the house to
Right.
make things a little smoother.
When it's
You know what I'm
it's
saying?
in tune, it's a lot better. So he might actually react to the
That's
things
what
that
I
he
be thinking.
rejects.
You put it to a rap. So sometimes now I'm like, it's time to brush teeth. And I'll be like, you want me to play the song? And he'll be like, yeah, play the song. And so if I play the song, I can get a much easier time out of him. You know what I mean?
It's a form of, it's like sort of a positive reinforcement in a lot of ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. So you talked about a little bit about, like, him hearing your music and stuff like that. Like, how has he taken in your fame so far? Like, has he embraced it a lot, or is he still taking it in?
I don't think he understands it at all. I think he
Mhm.
just thinks I'm just daddy. But
As he
yeah,
should.
when I get on stages and things like that, if the stage is low, then he's like, oh, it's showtime for me too. If he can reach it, he's getting up there with me. He's gonna dance with me and
Right.
things like that. So I don't know. Like, he might think like everybody's dad is supposed to be on the radio or coming out the speakers. You know what I mean? Like, he
Right.
might really think that. Just
Right.
yesterday, I played him a new song and it had a woman MC on it, and he was
Yeah.
like, "Is that mommy?" Like he instantly thought it was mom.
Right.
So I was like, man, I didn't think about that would make him think it was mom. And
Mhm.
so yeah, that's like, he just thinks that's normal. Like, wait, what? Your parents don't rap? Like, y'all don't travel and y'all don't do this?
Oh, he's
Like
gonna
he
have a
just
lot of discovery.
yeah, like I think he's growing up in an interesting spot where he's able to see this, and he thinks that's kind of everybody's life.
Right. Have you seen him getting caught by the music bug by any chance at his early age?
A little bit,
Mhm.
I love when I can see it happening, where he's like, when he changes the word of a song to his own name
He
or
remixed it
something.
already.
He's remixing. He'll say something funny, and I'll be like, "Oh, I see you." Like, that's kind of how it begins.
Mhm.
You putting your own name in instead of the name you hear, things like that. So it's yeah, I feel like it's kind of getting there. At some point, I'm gonna let him go at his own pace if he wants
Of
to do
course.
it. But I feel like it's in the house. Like, we all love music. We play so much music in here that it's kind of bound to happen to him. Whether
I can see where,
creating.
like, and especially in your environment, and you and your wife, and how you guys work, which I absolutely loved that I got the chance to meet both of them when you guys hit Philadelphia. Which, by the way, I found was a hell of a coincidence that I just bumped it. We were not prepared. I
Yo,
was
that was
not
crazy.
prepared to bump into you, and I
Yeah,
was
that
rocking
was
your
wild.
shirt.
You was wearing the shirt. I was like, man, we didn't even plan this. Like,
No,
I didn't know you were gonna be there. I don't think you knew
I
I was gonna be there.
no. Originally, I wasn't going to be there because I wasn't covering
Okay.
Fan Expo for, I won't say for whatever reasons.
Mhm.
I just, this year was just not the year that I wasn't going to cover them.
Right.
But I found out that Cal Abear was going to be there. Gohan, voice of Gohan and Ryu and all that stuff.
Yes.
And he again, talk about like people like you, and talk about people that has helped me, in certain matters of this podcast. He was definitely one of the people.
Yeah.
I would not have. I mean, he's been on the show many a times, but would not have met Molly Flanagan, and we've been great friends since then. He's the reason why I had Stephanie Nadoni on the show a while back in December, and like, he's always looking out for me. So I was like, he's coming to Philly. This is the only reason why I am paying for a day badge, just to say hi and thank him in person, to do that. And then all of a sudden, I'm walking in, just covering scoping the place, and I hear your voice, and I'm turning around like, and I'm like, ain't this a mother?
Yeah.
It's
Like,
perfect
what are
timing.
the odds? That's so crazy.
I thought it was dope. It was dope,
Yeah.
and I'm really happy that happened. It was incredible, and it was I literally had that picture on my Amazon. Let me put this on mute so I won't on my Alexa show screen. I got it popped up every so often. So like,
That's
I
just,
really love that. And your wife and your kid is just, they're awesome.
Thank you.
It was great. It was great to meet them.
I'm so glad we were able to all meet up like that. It just worked out so perfectly.
Yeah. But here's a question I have for you too. In terms of passing on your morals, values, experiences with your son, what are you most looking forward to, and what are you least looking forward to in terms of, talking with your son?
Wow.
Have you ever thought about that yet?
No, I haven't.
You've had it's safe to say that you have a high valued amount of experience than most people have. And some world and well rounded. You've been around, a lot of people, a lot of situations, some good, some bad. And he's gonna have to have his own experience at some point.
Yeah.
How does that look like to you?
Whew. That's a tough question.
So I've been around for 10 years.
Yeah, right. I man, it's hard, but I hope, and I say this because I hope that's because saying out loud will help me with it. I hope I allow him to, the room to make mistakes,
Yes.
to grow, and things like that. Whereas my mother tried to really protect me from the world, so there was a whole lot of, push and pull, like, don't do this, don't go there, don't do this,
Right.
And I still, of course, want to be that and be there for him and let him know, that things can go wrong,
Yeah.
But also I want to be able to have enough space for him to make mistakes and grow from those mistakes,
In order to take accountability, which honestly, this day and age, we all have to start practicing again, is to be able to take accountability. Even if we're humans, we make human errors, we make mistakes, but just owning up to those. And I wouldn't be here had I not owned up to my situation. I think we talked about a few interviews ago. Like, I was a scrappy kid from West Philly. I hung around the wrong people. It may have cost me my life at some points. I've been at 55th and Pine, jail cell at one point as a person who got into trouble at Overbrook. And in some cases, it wasn't warranted. But at some point, I had to stop being me and being better than me.
Yes.
In order to do it. And I had to accept the wrongs that I did.
Exactly.
I feel like that's been a lost art today. And I think we as adults need to start practicing that in order for our next generation to do so as well. And then let them know it's okay.
I agree. We got to give them a little bit of room.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like I gotta, I also hope that I don't have like some of the other things that my mom was giving me, which is the like, I told you so. And a
which
lot
is
of
so fun and easy to say, but yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the like kind of beating up for making mistakes, being,
Yeah.
and so I want to be able to give him that room to grow from the things he may do or choose to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's really a big thing for me. The song, there's this advice song on there with Aaron Nigel Smith, and that one, it talks about that a lot, like, just about trusting people,
Right.
being honest, letting people know, like, sometimes it's okay to give people something they may not be ready for.
Yes.
Because that's what true friends do. You know what I'm saying? And always wish success for people and root for them, because everybody needs somebody to root for them in their corner, and things like that. And so, yeah, it was a fun experience to write that, because it let me think about it a little bit. But yeah, as far as things to pass down, like, I'm still learning how to be a parent. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? Like, this is all so new to me. Oftentimes I look at my wife like, are we doing this right? Like, what are we doing? And just so I'm learning in real time.
It's a forever learning experience for what I saw. I can't speak on behalf of myself, but as a person who was one of those troubled kids.
Yeah, when I talk to parents, they all say, like, you never really fully know it all.
Each stage is a different stage. I'm assuming.
And understanding that, and even trying to get advice from parents, man, you're gonna get a different thing from 10 different people.
Yeah,
you're gonna be like, oh man, this age was great, this age was hard, this age, and it's always gonna be different. So just keeping that in mind and just trying to be the best parent you can be. Like, listening is so important. And in our age, in our day, I feel like that didn't exist.
No, our ideology,
stay in a child's place is how we were brought up.
Well, the other thing is too, our ideology permitted us to have to be on point, because, and still to this day, we still instill that, because we're up against a hill every single time. So making any mistakes will be held against you, not just by your community, but people outside of the community.
That's true.
That plays a major factor.
So true.
I mean, it just does. So, I mean, I've even had conversations with Molly Flanagan at times when I screw up, and it was like Molly, I have this mindset where I can't afford to F up. And she said, like, you can't think like that. I'm like, yeah, you can't think like that. I wish it was that simple, but it is what it is. I mean, it is something, but that's the mentality that we grew up with. But
easier said than done. Yeah.
Yes, very much so. So I will say this before I move on to the next question, in terms of my critique of you and why I think you're going to be very much okay in the eyes of your son, is that you have, I think, I don't know if you remember when you were at the, you were performing in Philly. I don't know if you heard me, but I often consider you Switzerland. The reason why I called you that is because I know there's a situation that would involve that situation.
Yes.
But you kept things grounded in the middle. You didn't want to, go against any side or whatever like that. And I understood that. And you find, it seems like you always, from what I know you from years, is like you always trying to find the good in people.
Yes.
No matter what. And you talking about that accountability stuff. You talk about doing that and giving grace and everything. And I get that. And I had no issue with that, despite that. And I respected the holy hell out of that, regardless of, the circumstances or whatever. That's a very powerful thing to have as not only just a father, but a person. And if your son sees that, he is going to be in a very good place, because it's not an easy thing to do, especially considering what you do on a normal basis and how you travel and who you network with. And, not everybody's going to be great.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to be good, but you just take it with grace and stride. And I got to commend you on that.
Thank you. Man, it's not easy at the same time, because yes, Switzerland is that's interesting. Me being the neutral party. I try to be very even keeled, and I also believe in, like, never letting them see you sweat. You know what I'm saying?
That too.
Or,
I mean,
like, I prefer it to be, like, composed at all times.
Yes.
That's kind of the way I like it to be.
Professional as it possibly be.
Professional, because you just never know. Like, hero worship is a real thing, and I don't think I'm that special. I think I'm just some guy. But there are people who come
That is
up to
such
me
a Peter Parker thing to say.
Thanks. Yeah, but there are people who be like, yo, man, like I really look up to you, like the way you carry yourself and all that. And so I think about that a lot, maybe too much, when I'm out in public. And I'm like, the last thing I want somebody to see is me being out of my character or getting out of myself.
Or you slapping
for,
somebody at an award show.
me slapping somebody. And and that's funny because we talk about hero worship. Like Will Smith is one of my heroes. So that becomes a little difficult when you see them getting out of character. So my thing is like, man, phones are recording, cameras are running, people are there, people are having fun. And I just never want to get caught outside of who I am.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And even as a teacher, I was told by some of my mentors, they're like, man, they'll drag you down before you can bring them up a lot of times.
I like that.
And I was like, man, that is life in a nutshell.
Wow.
You could be out here trying to preach positivity and there'll be somebody else that can pull you so far down and out of who you are before you can bring them up.
Many times in the last 10 to 20 years of me doing what I do.
Yeah, man. Like I know you've seen it. So it's something that I'm always keeping in mind, man. This elder told me that and I was just
Which is funny because the lyrics to the opening theme song that you and Kay Murdoch made it was astounding. It was like, have you really been paying attention to what's been going on in my life? And how the hell did you come up with this? Because all I gave you was bullet points, and you came up with that. Bullet
points. But you know what? I see a lot of myself and my grind in you as well. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we have a lot of similarities,
right?
And we've come up in a very similar way, just from working hard.
Yeah,
you
working hard to have
different
fun.
Fields, but working hard to have fun. And so I see a lot of myself. So as I'm talking about myself, you know what I mean? In that song and in other songs, people are able to see themselves. And it's like, well, I do feel like me and you have a similar grind, similar story. And so that was kind of me talking, you know what I mean? Like being like,
I still feel like, though, I'm still in the early pages of your bio. Whereas like you've already at the part where like everybody is giving a rat's ass about you and care and all this stuff. I'm still like in chapter 5.
But you know what? Like everybody's book is different length. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that's how it goes. Yours.
But I wouldn't trade it for the world either.
Yeah, yours might be a 500 pager, and I'm 150. You know what I'm saying? But still, a great read either way. You know what I'm saying? And I think about every one of those like moments I've had where I've been disappointed or I've lost, or made a mistake or whatever. I'm always like, dang, it sucks. But I always think in the back of my mind, like, this is the story that's going to make me who I am.
Yeah.
Like, this is part of the story. This is going to be a chapter. This is going to be a behind the music scene. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm thinking. Like, man, like, if you didn't experience anything, then, man, the book, the documentary
be boring.
Would be trash. You know what I mean? Like, if you came up like, everything was fine. I trusted people. They were great to me.
You're in chapter 8 by this point.
It's like, oh, man, nothing but nice times in my book. You're like, nah, it ain't over then.
Right.
You haven't experienced anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's been a lot of my knock to people where I'm just like, you got to live. You got more life to live. If you haven't been disappointed, you haven't been heartbroken, you definitely got more living to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, wait for it. It'll be there.
That's why I loved your book. It was like, I did find so many relatable things, not just because you're from Philly, but like you went through some ill will.
Yeah. And you had to have that. And I remember my editor being like, yeah, you got to have the downtimes in order to get to the successes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's when she determined like, all right, this is going to be a good ending point, which was the Guinness World Record. But she's like, but you got to get there. So now we got to go through a lot of heartbreak, a lot of disappointment. So tell me the top 5 disappointing moments of your career. And I was like, man, I don't have any disappointing moments. Like, what are you talking about? I'm fine. I'm good. And she's like, well, you think about it and get back to me. And then I started thinking and I was like, wow, like there's some times where I was at my lowest, and I didn't realize it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so that is what built toward that moment and made that moment so special for me. Right. So it's important to talk about those things. Like I'm like that too. Even now in socials, like people are like, you're so positive. And I'm like, well, I think I should talk about the L's too.
Absolutely.
Because I think it's important for people to know, like, even the positive guy has moments when they're down. You know what I mean?
Humanizes you, man. You need that.
Yeah, I think that's super important. Like we need to. I know we only get like a highlight reel on socials. People just give you what they want to give you. You know, it's like Sports Center. You know, it's just the look at the highlights, the top 10 highlights.
Yeah.
You know, but there's some real stuff that can come out of the struggle. So I think just talking about those things, as long as I can find a positive spin on it.
Yeah, an outcome,
a lesson in it. I got to find the lesson in it, you know, in order to fully express it. You know what I'm saying? The teachable moment, the lesson is there. It's just sometimes I got to dig to find it.
Right. So I've said this multiple times, probably in various interviews that we've done, but like what you've accomplished, and you talked about ending the first book, which I hope is not just the first and only book, by the way, like, because you reached up to the Guinness Book of World Records, but after that, you just went crazy with your trajectory and all the stuff. You talked about a little bit of that, but you have assimilated into so many different subject matters and themes within hip hop, your hip hop journey, in ways that I haven't seen other hip hop artists, even in mainstream, be able to accomplish. They, you know, you can't see Clips go and do a kids album because it's just not their brand.
No.
You now when it's talking about Coke all the time, and maybe one of them, but the other one,
maybe one of them could. Yeah, Malice could. Maybe.
Malice could.
He could probably pull it off. But yeah, I think the pivots have to make sense. Of course, right? You know what I'm saying? Maybe they could pivot into I don't know. I was about to say like a true crime podcast or something. Like
I can see that.
You know what I mean? Like I can see that. Or them like hosting like, yeah, today we're gonna talk about the most nefarious drug dealers, you know? Like I'd watch that. Like, but, you know what I'm saying? So the pivot has to make sense. I saw speaking of the Clips,
I
saw someone put up a meme and I thought it was real at first. It was like the Clips will be appearing on Sesame Street. And I was like,
yo, T-Pusha. T-Pusha like, in the corner of Sesame Street.
What?
Or Pusha T, I'm sorry.
Somebody was like, this is an American story as old as time that the funding gets cut and then they gotta go find other means. And so now you know what I'm saying? Like
Pusha T in the corner of Sesame Street with Snuff.
Yo, yeah, Snuff might already be on some stuff, but that's neither here nor there.
But no, I digress.
But yeah, man. So wait. I saw that. I was like, wow, what? Like it was almost believable to the point where I was like, well, that's a heck of a pivot, you know?
But I mean, but talking about pivot, man, you've done so much and be able to do it successful. I'm on this hip hop group page and somebody, I think it was the actual people, mind you, put up a supposed like video documentary of the Youngsters.
Oh, okay.
And the Youngsters used to live around my way. And
I remember the Youngsters.
I used to hang around their cousin who I went to school with and hung around with at Overbrook. And it was probably one of them dudes I shouldn't have been hanging around because they got me in a lot of trouble. I got myself in a lot of trouble being associated with them. But he was known as being the cousin of Taji or Taj Mahal, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys were great lyrically. They were, I mean, like what Tretch and them did at the time was lyrically. The documentary was just trying to explain what happened to their careers and all that stuff. I think they were kind of, in my opinion, my perspective, I think just calling yourselves the Youngsters forever will probably hold you back a bit. Yeah. But there was other aspects too. And I also noticed that I mentioned that one of the things was too, is that some of the stuff that they were talking about wasn't real.
Mm-hmm.
I lived around them. I've seen where they were driving, or they were too young to drive anyway. So I knew what they were rolling in. I knew some of the stuff. Did not of all people came in to chime in. It was Taj himself who jumped in and was like, "I never met you a day in my life." And I replied, "I'm like, I never said I knew you. I hung around your cousin." Now, granted, I don't know if just mentioning that I hung around his cousin shut the whole entire conversation down because he was a little bit of a gusto.
Oh, okay.
Type of dude. You know what I'm saying? Like hip hop community know when I say gusto, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm not talking about the Chris Rock version.
Yeah, I mean maybe you are. But
it was kind of in that situation.
But no, that's really interesting. I thought you were gonna say like I feel like maybe they didn't take off because they were young, talking about kind of older things.
That
you
was
know what
too,
I'm saying?
but I'm figuring like
it was very like much with a rough edge.
But that's where I was getting to. That's what I was.
Them being real or fake really has much to do with it, because they're all fake. You know what I'm saying? Like most of these guys are not.
It is all kayfabe.
Yeah, most of these guys are not doing what they say,
right?
Because like they would literally be snitching on themselves on songs. So somebody said that. I was like, they're always like, "Yo, you get in front of the police, don't say nothing." But you get on the microphone, you say everything, apparently. So I never understood
there was like
that.
this big force field around the studio.
Right. Like, this is not an immunity zone. Like, just because apparently now, I mean, they're using your lyrics in court.
Right,
so
right.
It's like, you might as well be just talking to the judge. And so, yeah, it's that's pretty funny.
But what I was thinking was like, if they would have like rebranded themselves in a lot of ways, they probably would have, the longevity would have been there. But with you've changed. You started with video games and then kind of just went to other, matters like sports and comics and now children's theme. And it's crazy how you were able to do that and still stay afloat with your fan base. Like, were there any worries about your fan base, like that wouldn't embrace this turnaround?
Yes. I mean, from sports, even like doing the Live 95 album.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, like the nerds are not into sports. Like this, like the opposite. This is like nerd kryptonite. Like, you talking about basketball? Like, nobody's athletic. Because when you get
but here's the thing, when you get to that point, and here was my take of that. It was two things. One, I was thinking it can hit the gaming community because you're referencing it to, NBA Live in a lot of ways. Not officially, loosely based. And then you're hitting like a whole nother demographic, because it's like, this sounds like a normal mainstream, like, album. The way you produced it, the cameos and all the stuff that you had in there, it was like you were really producing it. It was dope, and people still received it. It was like, okay.
They did, and that surprised me. I mean, that was I wasn't sure how that was going to work out, for sure. Like, that was an album. Luckily, we backed it on Kickstarter. So it was like, it was already paid for, what I mean? So it's like, you already bought it now. You can't refund it. You know what I'm saying? But before they even knew what the concept was going to be.
Right.
But then I was like, you know what? There's something for everybody on there. That song Tractor Beam is on that album.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's a wrestling song with me and Schaefer, what I'm saying? So there's still little pieces of me and of Mega Ran, but it's mostly, and basketball is the overlying metaphor.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? For growing up in Philly, going to the park, the playground, finding something, making something out of nothing, which basically was the concept.
It was kind of like The Walking Dead in a sense where it's not really about the zombies.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, it's like, okay, you see a basketball on there, you might think basketball album, but I'm not every song dunking like Michael Jordan and scoring, and you know what I mean? Like,
you're on fire.
Like, this is about myself. It's about my own journey, which started in the 90s, around 95. And just how, Philadelphia and those playgrounds kind of shaped me, So yeah, I think people were able to pull that out of it. And I've had people say the same thing, like, man, this just sounds like a good hip hop album. Like,
right.
That's it. Like, it doesn't necessarily, it's not a sports album. It's just a good rap album. And that's also, ultimately what I wanted. I
also think what really kept it, on the level is that your style didn't really change, just the subject matter. You were still killing it with bars and everything throughout the whole entire time. That's your real on brand. It's like your bars are still kicking. You like
the brand is the bars.
The brand is his bars. And
there you go.
And that still stayed afloat. Good. So I think that's what also played a factor. And it's like you still get the same great sound. He's just talking about something different, and it sounds great. The lyrics are working. It's moving like that. So all right, bet. It's not like you went total like MGK. You went from rap to rock.
Right. Yeah, this was not nearly it wasn't as drastic of a change as I could have took, what I'm saying? But like, I'm making a rock album. No bars on it at all. Or like an Andre 3000, like a flute album. Like,
or Ice-T with like body count.
Body count. Like, this was the brand is still there. It's still something, it's still a name brand you stand by. Like Denzel said in American Gangster, he's talking about the Blue Magic, like it's a name brand. It's like, so yeah, Mega Ran is the brand, and the brand is still bars. It's still, fun, it's still positivity.
Right.
And so hopefully people were still able to pull that out of it.
Right. Who do you credit to your ongoing success at this stage of your career? You've had in terms of the projects you've been a part of.
Well, I'd say my wife, honestly, because she allows us to keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like it can't be easy for me
Great
traveling
answer.
so much.
Great answer. She is
Yeah.
allowed.
Yeah, man. She's definitely allowed this to go on.
Mhm.
And so the travel can't be easy, especially now with the kid, like, with them both being here. So it's it goes as far as that because family life is first, so making sure that
That
is.
part we do have in common as well. My wife,
Mhm.
the business when we started up with her business and everything, it requires her to do a lot of traveling too. So I'm kind of in it, and I think honestly, be honest, I think pro wrestling helped me
Hmm.
in a lot of ways
How so?
because, when you're a pro wrestler or you're a performer of any entertainment, these
Hmm.
things happen.
Yeah.
There are couples out there who have to deal with that all the time, and I see how professional wrestlers dealt with, leaving their families behind, but for a greater goal and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
you got to be strong willed in order to do that.
Yeah.
And
No, that's real.
it takes some true strength to be able to. And for me and my wife, like we started off like long distance anyway because
Okay.
she lived in Manheim, PA at the time, but she would
Hmm.
come back up and forth and everything. So we were like, even during our engagement, like almost 20 years ago. My God,
Yeah.
we already had that practice already in. So
Hmm.
doing that was like a no brainer. So I had the bandwidth to be able to handle times when she had to part ways and all the stuff, and
Gotcha.
we would just make it work
Yep.
and still do.
That's how you just got to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's believing that it's worth it, is always going to be why you do it. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? And being like, yo, the end result is so worth it. Like
absolutely.
the peace at home, the moments are super worth it. So always like
And
doing your
again, you
best
still
to make
find a
sure
way to
it's good.
still communicate, to connect, and
Yeah. It's funny. I saw wrestlers, speaking of wrestlers, who was it that said, was it maybe Tony Schiavone, one of those guys?
Mhm.
They were like, they were away so much that when they came home, there was no time to argue. So he's like, so I actually, I actually credit, the travel
from what I've
for
read,
a good relationship because it's like,
yeah,
man, once you get home, it's like it's all good times because I only got a day or two, so there's no time to fuss about whatever's going on.
I've read Tony Schiavone's comic book biography. That
Mm.
sounds like right up to par with him.
Okay,
He
I
talks
didn't know
about
any
his
of that.
wife on air quite often, or they illustrate
Hmm.
his wife and all that stuff, and the camaraderie that they have together, but the love that they have for each other throughout the
Nice,
whole time. It sounds like very Tony Schiavone. I can believe that.
nice.
So I got two more questions. Actually, no, I got one more question for you. But again, thank you so much for coming back on. Thanks for all the times that you've come on this show, man. You just an awesome, one of the best
Nah,
things to
man.
come in my world.
Thank you. Likewise, bro.
So this is going to be the fun one to end it all
Yeah.
because on my playlist is in fact one of my favorite new wrestling theme songs right now. Your latest wrestling music venture is with the New Day, the new,
Yeah. The new day. Yeah.
as you put together an awesome theme entitled
Thank
New
God.
Day's World.
Yeah.
And I had the pleasure of seeing you perform that live, and I had the pleasure of seeing the reaction from the crowd with that as well.
Great reaction. Mhm.
My question is, you've been working with Xavier for quite some time. You guys have been great friends and all this stuff. He's looked out for you in the ways that Molly Flanagan looked out for me in a lot of
Yeah.
ways as well.
Mhm.
And Kyle to that measure. But I know in your head, if we really got things in common, then in your head it's only one goal.
Mm.
What are the chances we get to see you do a live performance at an upcoming WrestleMania or PLE doing that
Man.
song?
Dude, I am ready for the call. That's really it. Like, I'm ready for the call. I think about that a lot. Even
I
when I'm
bet
when
you
I'm
do. I mean,
when
you
I'm
got it.
booking
You
my
got this
tours,
far.
it's like there's not a lot left on my bucket list. I'm gonna be honest. I'm very fortunate, very blessed. There's a
You
couple things.
you
And
got
I'm
as far
gonna
as reaching
say,
the stage
yeah, I've been on the stage in Philly.
in
Like
Philly,
that
might you?
right there
Yeah.
was amazing. But that little taste, it made me
Mm-hmm.
want more. So now I'm like, ooh. The hard part of that is just because I was back there for Mania, I know what goes into that. and I was there with these kids, and they had an awesome moment.
Yeah.
But the what you see on stage is the amazing part.
Yeah.
But what you don't see is the hurry up and wait of it all.
Yes.
Like those kids had to be there 3 hours before the show.
Wow.
To rehearse, and then be there the entire show, which was another 3 hours, and then to come out on the last match, and then go home right after that. It's like, hey, y'all been here too long, with these child labor laws. Like, get out.
Right.
And so it was instantly get on the bus and go. Wow. So they had a blast, but man, the whole day backstage, like you couldn't go
the warm up
ringside.
Yeah,
you couldn't watch the show except on the TV. And so we was like those, like in the backstage where you're sitting at the TV and the TV's on the side, and TV, and we're watching the TV like this. Like that's almost like it was just watching on TV and eating sandwiches and just waiting until your time.
Right.
And that's it. There was some exciting moments, of course, like guys would come in, like we'd see, oh, there's Cody, there's The Rock, there's,
right.
And we got to see a lot of cool stuff.
Right.
But a lot of hurry up and wait involved in that moment. And it's just for that 2 minutes to get out there and then, all right, get off stage,
for the record, it was a very impactful 2-3 minutes of that time, because that was epic.
I mean, it was like
it was beyond epic.
Like when I watched it on the playback, I was like, "This is one of the coolest entrances I've ever seen." So now it's like, if I was going to do that with the New Day, like we have to build it up to be just as epic. You know what I'm saying? So I would love to be a part of it. I'm waiting on the call. Every time I book my tours, I'm always like, let's leave April, like mid-April, late April, just in case. Let's leave it open,
right? Just in case.
And in this past Mania, I did not. I was on a tour, and I was like, I can't leave this tour. I was in North Carolina while Mania was going on,
right?
And but just to hear the song in the stadium was cool enough. But just like imagining, like, wow, if I was out there, like being able to play them out,
I just think that has
goosebumps.
I mean, I don't want to give hopes up or anything, but I just feel like it's inevitable, and it just feels like that it has to be the next, because their pageantry of the New Day is legendary, and it's like
it has to happen. Like, you know what? To me, though, yeah, it absolutely has to happen. And so, but I just know in my weird luck, it would be like they would lose the match or something, or you know what I'm saying, or like they'd get a half as long intro, so it'd be like a shorter one, or be during a commercial break or something like that. Like, but either way, like I would just love to be a part of it. I am waiting on the call. There's not a lot of things I would drop everything for. There's like 2 or 3 on the bucket list. Sesame Street is one where I'd be like, I'm going and I'm doing it. A few years ago, I would have said opening for Will Smith. I probably still would be interested if the call came through.
Right.
And playing at Mania. Like that's it to me. Like the holy grail of what's left on my bucket list would be those. Like, and those are moments that I would be like, man, you got it. No question. I'm there. I don't have nothing to do. Let's go. And even though I had something to do, I'm like, you're going to understand, because this is a lifelong dream, and that's it. But yeah, man, it does feel very close. Like it does. Like it keeps feeling like it's going to happen. They got to do right by my boys, by the New Day. First of all, got to get them tag team titles back. And then hopefully, man, I can play them out.
But that's how I feel like, because when it comes to wrestling music, I don't know. I can't speak for any other hip hop artist who's ever done music in wrestling, but I called you the Road Warriors of wrestling. Wrestling TV. You hit AEW, you hit WWE with music. Like, I have an entire playlist of themes that you've done for different versions of companies that you played, and including what is it, CEO?
Yes, the
like
CEO.
The Kenny Omega theme. Like, you've been on a ball with this. It's like,
it's been pretty amazing. Like, it honestly has been a blessing. I said that, I was like, I'm the forbidden door of rap. Like,
really are.
It's kind of cool. Like,
wait. What's the Game of Thrones dude? The Hodor.
Hodor. Yeah, gotta hold the door. That's me. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. Like, just to be able to like have a part in like so many different companies and make music that I really like and that they really like. The song I did for Shelton Benjamin, he said it's his favorite theme song
you
ever.
did that one, yeah.
So Like just like being a part of these amazing people's legacy is just like icing on the cake for me. Cause again, these are people I watched my whole life. So it's like really dope to be a part of the universe. And yeah. And so I like being a hired gun, you know, as much as like people be like, oh, would you take a job just making music for like WWE or AEW? I don't know, honestly, because I like being able to be free.
Yeah.
To be like, all right, I can go work with whoever I want. There's no contractual obligations. I can just make music, you know.
Plus,
So
I think the money, in terms of the money, you might be better off being in the middle.
yeah, because what they do is they kind of put you on like a salary, and then you just have to create.
Yeah.
And then it's like you might have to make 50 themes in a month.
Right.
You still make the same amount of money as if you made 2 in a month.
Whereas if you freelance it, like it's balls on your court. What do you want to do? I'm doing this right now, but if you play the role.
I like being absolutely. I like it. You know, the a la carte method. It's
there you
like
go.
When you want it, you can holler at me, and we'll do it that way.
Yeah.
So yeah. Shout out to Mikey Ruckus at AEW. He always hits me up when there's an opportunity. So I do appreciate that. And with them, it's you get a little more freedom with it. You know, with AEW, like when Woods hit me up, it was like, we're going bad. So give me some angry. But like WWE has a production limit, you know, production guidelines, you know what I'm saying, where they're like, stay within this, is this amount of time, is this amount of beat, this amount of space, you don't say nothing here, you say something here, you know what I mean? And so it was very much like within their parameters,
which I do respect,
fine,
because when it comes to branding,
know how to do it.
Yeah, one of the things, even this is my second year just watching WWE, because I've been on hiatus of that company for obvious reasons. But when I came back, literally day one Raw, when I came back, I've always never said anything about the way that they brand their company. I always paid attention to how they brand. Always loved the logo designing, the pageantry, how they get that right, so right, more than anything. So I'm not surprised at that. And I've been in jobs where they have that same type of that business practice as well.
Yes.
So I respect that. And it turned out awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. So yeah, I hope you put it in the air. We're going to cross all the fingers. I really believe that it's going to happen. Maybe this year. Maybe.
I'm going to hit you up the minute that happens.
You're like, Dex, you said it. Let's go.
You know, it's not the first time I think I did that, but the other time that it happened, it was probably, they already knew, and it was an NDA that they couldn't say it anyway. So.
Probably.
So it is what it is. But, you know, Mega, thank you so much again for not only just being on this show multiple times, not only just doing the theme song, just being a good ambassador to my life and the lives of so many people that you've come across. It shouldn't be like your flowers needs to be given completely. And it will be given, a bouquet will be given on this platform. I will tell you that. So thank you for everything that you've been to me. Thank you, what you've done for everybody else. And we appreciate you incredibly.
Oh man, thank you. I appreciate you as well.
Talk Time Live would not have elevated with the quality that it is without you putting your voice into it.
Wow.
That
is an honor. So thank you.
So, right now, give you the opportunity to plug. You got to podcast yourself that you jump on every once in a while too. So talk about that. Talk about where they can find you. Floor is yours.
I do. Yeah, man. Shout out to the X-Pod 97. We do a lot of Marvel and X-Men talk week to week. We're waiting on a new season of X-Men 97. So in the meantime, we pop up intermittently with some updates, me and my man Marcos. So shout out to him. You can get that on the Geekscape Network, wherever you like to get podcasts. Yeah, I'm always on Twitch, maybe 3-4 times a week, just kind of chatting, doing whatever I kind of want to, occasionally playing video games as well. Always on tour as well. So you can hit megaran.com/shows for the tour dates right now. I got a couple festivals and then a UK run coming up. And then the new album, Buddy's Magic Treehouse, is out. You can go get it anywhere where fine music is distributed. Just type in Megaran. You'll see the newest release and check it on out. I think you'll like it.
One has to ask, why haven't you hit New York during New York Comic Con? At all.
It's been a while. I've done it a couple years ago.
Dude, I've been there 5. I'm going 5. This is my 5th year going. I have not seen Mega Ran in New York because I would have gone to a Mega Ran show.
Well, we didn't have a show per se. I think
Right.
I DJ'd one of the Sonic Boombox after parties.
Ah, gotcha.
And we had a really good time. Yeah, I had a fun time in New York the last time I went.
Sheesh.
I feel like it's 2020.
Yeah, that's
or
no, it can't be
19
2020.
maybe.
Can't, yeah,
No,
it has to be
couldn't happen in
19.
2020. So I think it was 19 was the
19
last time I
makes
went.
sense. Yeah.
And Sci-Fi they hooked us up. They had us they had me out walking the floor doing freestyles with people that were walking around and
Oh, dope.
cosplay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I had a really good time out there. I gotta get back.
You gotta get back. Like, honestly,
Yeah, it's one of my favorite cons. It's so
I don't know
big,
how many
like,
times I'm going to be able to cover this event, but every time I've gone, for the last 5 years that I've gone and done media for it, it just doesn't disappoint. And I've been I've been to San Diego and I've been here to New York, and they both are like just epic.
Yeah, they are. I
Insanely
feel like
epic.
New York's kind of past,
New York, I'm sorry, yeah, especially this year. I think New York is
San Diego. Yeah,
yeah. Repop. I'm not just tooting the horn because Repop looked out for me too, but like Repop is just, I worked with them, partnered with them. One of them other surreal things that I've ever done in my career. But it's just like I've seen how they work, and it's just incredible.
it is. It really is. And San Diego is this weekend, so there's some cool stuff going on. Shout out to anybody that's out there. Yeah.
You still doing the you still do the hip hop and comics deal, or is that
when I can? Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Patrick Reed. He usually has me. He's got a West Coast crew and the East Coast crew. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of the West Coast rappers are on the San Diego one, and then a lot of the East Coast rappers get on the New York one. So yeah.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
All right, appreciate it, Mega. Thank you so much again, and please keep up the great work, my man.
Thank you.
We'll definitely keep in touch. We'll do.
I bet.
Folks, I hope you enjoyed this very special episode of Talk Time Live exclusive. On behalf of myself and the one and only Mega Ran himself, all I gotta say is learn to let go, live life, and love all things anime, comics, movies, and games. This is ACMG Presents Talk Time Live. We are out of here. Take care. You guys have a good one.